That's good.
Hello.
Hey, Andrew.
Hey.
How you doing?
Okie dokie. Getting over a little head cold.
Uh,
Yeah.
you get it from one of the kids?
I don't know. Yeah, I've had it for a while, to be honest.
Oh,
So actually trying to, sleep and whatever, rest a little bit. And get it taken care of. I don't think that'll fall. We'll find out. It's a nice cardboard box here if it does.
Uh, I, we find all sorts of things to help us. So,
Yeah. So
how
yeah,
was Thanksgiving?
that's okay. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving, so we
Oh,
didn't really
no.
do. No, no, we do the Sabbath. So we did Mabin,
Huh?
weeks ago. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
So it was just a day.
Well, that's good.
I thought there was a chair in here. Hold on. Um. Okay. Well, I will just scoot this thing.
Right, or do you want to get another?
I don't know where it would have gone.
Oh,
Yeah. So it will be all right for now. I'll just have to scoot it when I want to stand up.
okay. Good.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm actually very well.
Nice. Excellent.
We've nothing, nothing good, bad, either one, except I hope our tenant gets things together in his life. So,
Oh, oh. Yeah.
well, he has made a couple of foolish choices in his work and kind of screwed him up for a little while. And
Gotcha.
hopefully he's getting back on track. Either that, or he's going to have to find someplace else to live.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
well, well, we're waiting for him to pay the November rent.
Gotcha.
So,
Only so long you can wait for that.
well, the deal is that he's going to pay it by the end of the month. So, um, if he does, fine, and if he doesn't, um, unfortunately, I think we're through
Yeah.
because we've done a lot to try to help him, and you know, it's getting a little old at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's being nice and and understanding, and then just letting yourself get taken advantage of.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But
well,
I think that's really the only issue we have, and if that's all we've got, it ain't much,
yeah.
actually.
No, that's nice.
Do you know? Did you meet Shelley Roy?
I feel like I have. Is she short?
Yeah,
Yes. Yep. And she does like energy work.
yeah, longtime student.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Um, she was diagnosed with ALS a few weeks ago,
Wow. Wow.
um, and that's a there's a real reminder that we have no problems at all.
Mm, right.
My mother had and died from ALS, so I've been through this once.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. I'm not super familiar with it. I just,
yeah, Lou
you know.
Gehrig's disease.
No, I I have like a bad whatever of like anything like that where people are like, "Oh yeah, it's this, it's that," or they got, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. Is that bad? Like, is that like they've got like a really bad cold, or like, they've got like 30 minutes, So
No, it's like your body deteriorates, but your brain does not.
that sounds really brutal.
It is brutal,
Wow.
and eventually it will kill you.
Right. Right.
So, um, yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah. No. No.
It's a very small percentage of it is genetic, but most of it is not, and they don't really know what causes it.
Right.
Um, I spent quite a few years after my mother died um, in the back of my mind, kind of worrying that I might get it.
Yeah, yeah,
But probably at this point I won't. So
that's good. That's
yeah, yeah, it is good. It is good. Anyway, how are the your children and your wife?
good. Good. Rowan's, all of a sudden he's got all sorts of words,
Oh, great.
Um,
Yeah.
this morning even it was real funny. We were talking about going on a walk, and he was like, yeah, walk. And we were all like, oh, good job, Rowan. And he just had one of those things that kids do where he just like spaced out afterwards. He was like, he had like a little smile on his face, and he spaced out for 30, 40 seconds. And
Uh-huh.
I always make jokes. I'm like, I was like, oh, you like saving this memory, Rowan? Like downloading, writing to disk, updating. He's just staring, and finally he goes, ah, and like giggles. I
Oh,
don't know what's going on when that happens. I just assume there's just some sort of thing that's connected in the brain, and they're like,
yeah.
whoa.
Oh, that's delightful.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. And Lyra's in the last week or two, she's just been drawing like crazy, and it's all of a sudden she would like draw stuff, and you could tell what it was, and she would tell you
yeah.
about it. But now she's doing more complex shapes, horses and unicorns, and
Ooh.
she always had a propensity for you'd lay out like all the colors, and she would grab one, and she just draw with just blue. And now all of
Yeah.
a sudden she's like, oh, I'm gonna do a rainbow unicorn, and like she's like every little line, every like inch, it's another color.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
that's really cool. Yeah, yeah,
That's
so they're good.
that's such fun to see them grow and develop.
Yeah, yeah,
They're amazing creatures.
yeah, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Well, it is. Okay, well, I suppose we ought to do what we're here for.
Makes sense.
And you may actually be able to hear the ting shaw today.
Ooh, excellent.
Um, Bill Bynum alerted me that there was a setting on Zoom called Original Sound,
Nice.
which I finally found and got activated, and it makes a difference.
Excellent. Hmm. Nice.
So, how's your cloud hands?
It's going. You know, I probably basically just forgot about the arms. I really was just the whole week focused on or two, um, whatever the whatever happened last class, right? So, um, I probably have a memory of what my arms are doing, but I really, I really was just playing with moving around, um, and trying to hold on to or really notice, um, you know, the bending leg.
Uh-huh.
I guess that's what I would say. Um, so yeah. But I did I it as I got ready for class, I was like, I kind of like forgot to do all the other parts. So yeah, we'll see how that is. But
Okay. Do you have any questions
I
other than what did the arms do?
the answer. No, I don't think so. I, yeah, I'm sure I
Okay.
will find some.
Okay. Um, well, what I'm going to suggest is I'll lead us through some standing and then into cloud hands, and I'll do a little bit with you.
Sure.
And then I'd like you to continue and let me just see where you are, and we'll work on that
That sounds like a plan.
to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Toasty up here.
So stepping out, just first taking a moment to feel your structure from the top of your head all the way down to the bottoms of your feet. Feel your feet flat on the earth and softening and opening down into the earth. Feel the head lifting off the top of the spine and everything releasing, neither tense nor limp. Feeling the breath, breathing down to the dantian, into the sides and lower back. The kidneys and the upper back. And feeling the chi sinking through your body. Just letting as much as possible release down into the earth. And then extending your mind through your body. Feeling everything that's happening inside your body. As you begin to scan from the top of your head and wherever you feel that you've encountered a blockage, focusing on it, breathing into it, and first ice to water. Just letting that blockage release. If you feel a little bit of change, or even a lot of change, water to gas, letting it flow out and away from your body and beyond your etheric body. Let the blockage resolve as much as it can at the moment. And remembering that if it doesn't let go on to the next place that you have a blockage. Repeat the whole process, knowing that releasing this one may help the previous one to let go. And letting the energy drop down through your feet into the earth. You could continue this, of course, for as long as you choose. Working as deeply into the body and the energy bodies as you can. But then transitioning into cloud hands, you begin to shift and rotate to the left, the right arm and the right leg freeing to step out wider, and then rotating and shifting back. And this movement can be as slow as you would like to make it. It does not need to be aligned with the breath at this point. So remembering that the descending hand coming in also goes around the qua and focuses down as the other one goes up. One is rising as the other sinks, and they are both rotating and curving, arcing through space in front of your body. It's a little rounding of the corner at the sides so that there is no pause of any kind. The movement is continuous. The hands meet in the center as your weight is centered. just continue for a minute. All right, so come to a pause. And first, do you have any questions that have come up as you did that? Any of that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So I think the first thing I would say is that the motion of your body with one thing we need to work on, but is very good. That um, I'm seeing um, really very smooth, level, continuous rotating and shifting. The the one piece that needs to be added to that is
Hmm.
rounding that corner at the sides.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And I understand we didn't really work very long on that prior to this, but um, and I'm deliberately leaving my camera um, here. Just I think you'll be able to. Um, well, I took the chair away. So, um, not worrying about the arms for a moment. So, as you come over to the side, you want to have a little rounding of the corner. It's as if you were, when you get fully weighted on one leg, your weight is towards the heel, not on the heel, so you fall backwards, but towards the heel.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then that curve is starting to move towards the toes, towards the bubbling well, which you complete by the time you get to the other side. So it's very subtle. It is not a gross movement, I understand. Um, and I'll turn sideways in a moment just so you can see it from another angle. But as you come over here and you come to this, when there's a little turn, starts bringing you back.
Hmm.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Um, so as you get to the side here, you begin that movement. And you get here, you begin, so that there is no hesitation, no pause whatsoever.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Just I can try.
That's all I ask.
Mm.
Yeah, I can see that beginning to happen. Needs
Yeah,
a needs a little practice.
it feels like I want to do like I guess just probably way too much. Or like I kind of want to go like that.
Yeah, you have to avoid that.
Right. Okay.
Because you remember that when you come to center, you want to be facing straight ahead and be center weighted.
Right.
And the problem with what you were demonstrating there, which I have done in the past, I've been there, done that. There is a tendency, oh, I can start this turn and woof.
Yeah.
And
This
that,
feels like much more like, we
well, and that relaxed sense of we, yes, you you would like a little more of that.
right.
Good.
Yeah. I think yeah, just needing to play with it really. Finding I think it feels like it's from not starting the shift at the same time because like I'm like I want to rotate to like make that round, but
Mm,
I just I if I did it while shifting, I think that's when it feels like
yep,
I'm straight ahead.
that's right.
So yeah,
Yep. Um, and the um, I did feel you were pretty stiff at times. So
yeah.
that,
No, yeah, I feel stiff and I think it's just from being sick and laying a little too much, trying to sleep.
yeah. If I'm pushing you too hard,
No, no, no. I figured today was gonna be like a creaky, rusty kind of day. So,
okay, a
yeah,
creaky, rusty kind of okay. Um, so the thing about the arms is if we just think about one arm, and the one thing I'd say first is I liked the position at the top that your arms were going to because they were getting up to a good height. They were going out. That was really good. Um, and they start down very well. And with rotation, that was in there. But you have to find where it begins to go around. But notice that as it goes around, it's continuing down to to at least the level of the quad, maybe a little lower.
okay,
Um, it doesn't stop here, and I felt like you were getting stuck at about waist height,
okay,
which actually makes it a little harder because you don't have the space you need to get that whole movement in. Because this part is part of what's sending the energy down your body into the earth, and then the turn begins to start the arm back around that curve and up a little. It's very subtle, but you're coming up, and then it continues right on up to its final position.
yeah,
Not easy.
yeah,
Um, do you understand what you'd like to do?
yeah, yeah. I knew something was not correct about the arms.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I couldn't, but I couldn't figure it out. But yeah, yeah, I wasn't getting them low enough.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing just fine for where we are in this
Nice.
practice. You're not. I'm not in any way not saying that. You're doing
Yeah.
fine.
No, no, yeah.
Um, it's this is just this is really complex.
Right, yeah.
This is as complex as any Tai Chi movement.
Yeah.
So, do you have any other questions at the moment?
A lot. But
Oh, well, ask them if you want.
I yeah, I don't know. The I I don't know how to like word it. Uh, of just the sending out. Uh, yeah, I don't really know. I guess I don't have a question. I don't know.
It sounds like you're asking, how is the energy moving in your body?
Um, it's more like what to be looking for. It. Where's it going? Where's it going? What am I doing with it? You know what I mean? I'm sending it out. It's coming back. It's all like it's new stuff. I just have to take that at face value. But I guess and it's one of those. I'm a little foggy, so I'm like thinking about it way too hard. But I just find myself being like, what should I feel in in an etheric body? I guess
Hmm.
like that's must be where it's going. If I'm taking stuff from inside my physical body,
It's even going beyond that, but yes, okay.
right, right. Like, but I should probably focus on the next one. So before I get too excited. Um, but yeah, how do you start noticing anything with that without besides just like, well, you just do it. I guess.
So the one of the things to remember is that how you move in the etheric body is reflected in how you feel the energy moving within the physical body.
Okay.
So, and that's a pretty basic um, thing, and that's why we place so much emphasis on where the arms are in relation to the body, where the hands are in relation to the body. So, um, if you know we you don't want the hand to end up close to the body, even when it's at the side. It's at least a fist width away from your hip,
Mm-hmm.
um, and what is happening here, if we think about it, as the arm is rising, okay, to begin with, the first part of that is bringing fresh energy from the earth into the body.
Mm-hmm.
The second half of the movement, from the middle on up, is releasing any energy that or moving energy into the universe. So it's moving energy up your body.
Mm-hmm.
And you're pulling fresh energy back into your center and then sending it down with the rest of the movement into the earth. So in effect, it's kind of interesting because here we have really working on developing that flow through the whole body, but in other words, from earth to the universe and back to earth again on each side of the body.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, we are also working from the center to the periphery and back.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and so one of the things that we have to recognize is that um, those are only two of many energy flows that are functioning in the body simultaneously as we, whatever we do.
Right.
Um, and so you really want to only try to focus on one of those at a time,
Okay.
because it is unlikely that at this point you can focus on more than one and really fully connect with it and feel it and move it.
Right.
So really the first one to work on is just getting that continual flow up and down through the body. And
Yeah.
and there are some more details that go into this movement that will help that, but
That's
I'm
okay. Yeah.
not going to give you any more details to work on at the moment because
Yeah.
I think
No,
you
that's fine.
have enough.
Yeah.
So you're trying really to, at this point, to open to just feeling that flow of the energy through each side of the body.
Okay. Yeah. I guess because yeah, I feel like I have a sense of it. So, using your rule of if you feel it, you are. So, um,
Yeah, absolutely.
um, so I guess just because it for me it's very it's gone like right away. You know what I mean? Like it's out of my fingertips, it's out of my toes, it's out of my heel. You know, it's out of my feet. Um, and like that's it. That's the end of the story there. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but like
But
I've
that
seen
is
these illustrations where I've got like a universal body on Jupiter over there, you know, like so where
so so
where's it going?
so you're um, once it leaves, that's not the end of the story.
Right, right. But
The
I'm not
energy immediately comes right back in again,
right.
instantly. As a matter
Okay.
of fact, more than instantly, quicker than instantly.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, um, yes, you do want to arrive at being aware of the energy going out of your fingertips, but also coming back in your fingertips.
Right. I, I'm there's definitely uh, a sense of it, but it's a long pause. It's a long pause. It's not quicker than instantly that I become aware of it. You know.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a fine enough thing to work on there then.
Well, simply to open to it, because
Yeah.
if you seek it or try to make it happen, it won't. You
Yeah.
won't feel it. It's
Yeah.
not that it's not happening. It's happening.
I
Believe
find that really
me,
frustrating.
it's going on, or you wouldn't be walking around.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that always frustrates me a lot. It's like, well,
so,
don't you can't look for it, otherwise you're never gonna, you know. But don't not be aware of it. And I'm like, all right,
so,
what?
so there's a difference between simply being aware and thinking about trying to feel it.
Yeah, that's true.
And um, we we think we should be able to control that.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
and and so we get, unfortunately, right back to our basic, um, one of the most basic rules as far as I'm concerned, which is let go.
Yeah. Right.
Allow it to happen because it's going to happen.
Right.
And and you can feel it. It's not that you can't feel it. I mean, you do feel it. I think you are beginning to feel
Yeah. Yeah.
it. You just have to let go of thinking too much about it.
Right. Yeah. No, I think I'm just foggy. So
Well,
I'm more apt to just be well, let's like consider, let's think our way through this. I'm like, well, why?
but it's not a computer program.
Yeah, right. No, I'm not gonna. No, no. I'd like it to be.
Yeah.
I'm trying real hard to make it one day.
I hear you, and I understand.
Yeah.
Believe me. um, one of the things that Bruce has said this many times, and uh, certainly I've experienced it, and I know other people have. And what I would say to you is that you will discover somewhere along the way that simply by practicing appropriately and not thinking too much about it, you will suddenly realize that you are doing and feeling the things that you want to be aware of.
Right.
And you haven't necessarily had a conscious um, input about it.
Right.
And it's very interesting when that starts happening because it reinforces that you have to trust that if you simply practice and um, let yourself really feel that eventually it will appear.
Right.
And um, yes, how we feel the energy varies from person to person. Everybody isn't the same, but um, some some elements of it are.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's we're talking about things that are really have to be felt. I can't. Um, I can describe what it feels like to me. That
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily make any sense to anyone else at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's part of it because it's very for all the other stuff. It's like, oh, you do this posture, or like you can focus on these all these other points, and then it feels like it gets to a part where it's just like, okay, let's go feel it, bro. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay, sure. What, where, when, what, which like sure, but yeah, it just feels like a funny, lip, a little bit, a step, plateau, whatever, of
Yeah,
of just yeah, like I don't know,
it.
you'll get it, you'll feel it, just stop, kind of like finally like just pushing the kid on the bike and just like go, like you'll yeah, like you'll figure it out.
And you
Um,
do.
yeah, right, and then we do. So I don't know.
um, I understand your frustration,
Yeah, well,
uh,
that's good.
but I can't take it away.
Perfect. That's all right.
um, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that's enough words
Me too.
about that.
Yeah, I think we got it.
Do you have other questions though that you wanted to ask?
No, I think that's probably it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me see how much time we have here for this. Hmm. Um, I think I'm not going to go any further into um, energy gates today.
Yeah, sure.
The next step is beginning the Taoist spine stretch, and it's developing a beginning practice that you need to work on before we go into the full spine stretch.
Okay.
And um, I don't I don't think the amount of time we have left
Yeah.
for this part of the class is enough to do that.
Okay.
Besides which, I feel like actually it's probably good for you to keep working on cloud hands for a while.
Sure. Sounds good.
Did you have any questions about the standing or the dissolving?
Um, I'm just I I just feel really slow. I feel like I I have a lot of blockages
Yep.
that I'm aware of. And whenever we do a guided thing like that, it's like, all right, scan from top to toe and like whatever. And I'm like, okay, I've gotten about like this far into my head, down my head, and it's
Yeah.
like, all right, well, we've been doing it for 20 minutes though, so it's time to move on. I'm like, oh, all right. So I don't know. Just I guess just uh, yeah, that's it. I always just feel really like maybe I don't move on soon enough. Um,
You know, as you begin this, which is kind of where you are at the moment,
yeah.
um, there probably is not much value in staying for 20 minutes with um, a blockage.
Yeah. Sorry.
5 minutes, yeah.
Okay. Um, because what I like, I'll find, I'll feel like I find what I like three, four, five in half the top of my head,
Huh?
and so staying for 5 minutes with each one, that's like half an hour.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've gotten halfway down my head. Just
That's all that's pointing out. And believe me, um, so the current meditation class has been going on for 7 years, I think.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, they are certainly beyond uh, simply focusing on blockages in the physical body. Um, Certainly working at a deeper level, but all that I'm saying is it has taken them 7 years to get to this point.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So the blockages that everybody has obviously are individual, and some people will have, 1,000 blockages in the physical body and 10 in the emotional body.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the next person will have, you know, 15 in the physical body and 1,500 in their emotional body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so it may take you a little while to get through to release the blockages in your physical body, but it may not, the next levels may not be as difficult.
Yeah. Okay. That's reassuring, at least.
Well, it, it's real. You know, everybody's different, um, and and gradually you also get to a point where you recognize the difference between a physical blockage and an emotional or mental or etheric blockage,
Right.
in which case those are released in inner dissolving rather than outer dissolving.
I feel like I should remember what the difference between those two things are, but I don't. So
Well, I'm not sure that we
yeah,
went
I think
much at all on that.
oh, maybe that's wrong.
So in outer dissolving, that's ice to water, water to gas, and you're thinking of releasing whatever you can release beyond the etheric body.
Mm-hmm.
Um, inner dissolving with the next bodies is releasing whatever you release into inner space, which is limitless and appears limitless within you.
Okay. Gotcha.
I don't think we've talked about that very much.
No, that reminds something is like, yeah, I've heard that before. But yeah, I don't think I ever worked with it in any way.
Yeah.
Huh.
So at
But okay.
the first blockages that we usually experience most easily are the physical blockages, or blockages in the physical body.
Yeah.
They may have an etheric, emotional, or mental, or psychic, or karmic source. But if you can release the blockage in the physical body, that begins to set up the ability to release it in the other bodies too.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so in the standing work in this particular practice, we are primarily focusing on the physical body. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Blah blah blah. So, you're young, Stat. We're almost at the end of the second paragraph.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
You are making progress.
Yes. Yeah.
So, do you have any particular questions?
No, I was gonna say if we could just go from um, the last thing in my mind is the downward punch. Um,
Uh-huh.
if we could just go piecemeal, posture from there to whatever was next.
Yeah.
Uh, my space is limited, so
Yeah.
but I would like to. Yeah.
So, after the kick with heel and the through two brush knees, you feel okay with those.
I'm gonna put it this way. I remember the last thing is the downward punch. So maybe if we go back a little bit too, that might be good.
Okay.
Um,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay, let me change my camera here.
Sorry.
So we turn around and come onto our right foot, and we go into a kick with the left heel straight to the original right side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's same movement we've done before for that of going up and out, and then step forward, and we have a brush knee left, and then a brush knee right. And those are just the same as what we did in the first paragraph.
Okay.
Then we go into the punch downward, um, planter's punch. Um, we shift back, and it starts as if you were going to go into another brush knee, all the way to the point of stepping forward. But at this point, instead of rotating and shifting forward, you're rotating and shifting forward and sinking.
Hmm.
And I'm going to separate the arms here. The left arm is rotating and pushing downward, and the right arm is going to form a fist and punch downward. And you end up down um, with your hips facing straight to the side. So you want to be in a good bow stance. Make sure that your left knee does not go beyond the tip of your toe. So you have to, this is an unusual posture in that we're going so low, but you have to um, get to the point where you can get down into a possible punch to someone on the ground. And you can probably do that more easily than I can.
That's all right.
So if you go back into a right bow stance and go into a brush knee right, so we have shift forward, rotate, sit back, turn, step out with the left. As you shift, you're sinking, and then you're rotating and continuing down, and the fist passes, the right fist passes the left palm. So the sense is that this hand is deflecting or pushing downward. It is on, really, pushing downward, and this is punching down. Question there?
No, I guess just so the height at which to stop my left, I kind of stop it at my knee, my left hand and my knee. Is that about the right height?
Yeah.
Okay.
And um, how low you go depends on your body.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
Hmm.
there are a number of things we could talk about. One was I mentioned the left knee, to be really careful about not pushing it too far forward.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, both knees need to be properly aligned. Um, the you are not pushing your butt back. If you notice that as I go down, it's staying about where it is. It's not pushing back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Um, the back eventually will have a curve in it, but you don't have to worry about that. But one of the things would be not to allow the head to collapse.
Right. Okay.
So maintaining your structure into this. Um, so maybe go back and start with the kick again.
Sure.
Um, so kick forward, come back, step, brush knee left, back, equalize, embrace the moon, shift, step, brush knee right, sit back, turn, shift, step empty, shift sinking, rotate, push down, punch down. And then you come up, turn on the right toe, step around with the left foot, shifting onto it, step forward with the right, and back fist. Nothing to it.
Okay. Yeah. Nothing to it. Simple.
So that back fist is really, we've done this before.
Yeah, it felt pretty familiar.
The thing here is, the first thing is to rise back to your base level, which folds the two arms to the same level. And then as you turn on the right toe, the right hand is coming up and the left is going down. And this is continuing through the step around. You've controlled that with that left arm. You step forward and shift. By the time you have placed the right foot, you're already facing here, so that the whole strike is shift forward into the back fist. And you're just going to your dynamic limit, of course, on the right knee.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it's the same deflect, intercept, and punch. In, kick, elbow strike, back fist, step, shift, and punch. And then a withdraw and push. So both of those are things you've done before.
Okie dokie.
And then it's cross hands. We're at the end of the second paragraph. So, if we go back to the kick, so we're in Embrace the Moon, and we kick with heel, step, rush knee, shift back, turn, step empty, brush knee right, back and turn, shift, step, sink, turn, push down and punch down, come back to base level and turn, step around with the right, step and shift forward to the back fist, turn left, S curve through, draw in, kick, elbow, back fist, step empty, shift forward, punch. Withdraw, push down, sit back, turn. Rise to cross hands, release, and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Do you think you can go through that?
Let's find out.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, quite a bit. It's not.
It's always a lot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Keep going.
Okay. Uh, trying to take tiny steps. What did I just do?
Yeah. Okay. So remember on the planter's punch, you want to sink down first, not start rotating right away.
So shift. So shift and sink,
Yep.
rotate and punch.
Yep.
And while rotating and punching, am I all done shifting, or there's still a little left?
Probably.
Probably. Okay.
Because there's not a lot of shifting to be done there.
Okay.
Um, yeah, good. The other thing is on the S curve going into deflect, intercept, and punch. That's that. Um, so the S curve does not occur out to the right side. It occurs in front of the center of the body. Uh-uh. So
No.
you're going straight down. Uh,
Yeah.
so let me demonstrate, I guess.
Sure.
Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah. Gonna run out of battery.
Okay.
Thought I had a charger. I do. Sorry. Cords. Got it.
You're back.
Yep.
So I'm turning this to face you so you can
Yeah.
maybe see it. So I felt like what you did was do that,
Definitely. That's exactly what I did.
and actually it's across the center line of the body and then back through the S curve and down to the bottom.
Okay.
So this is all happening right here.
Yeah. Okay. Across the center line of the body is a helpful.
If you look at a Tai Chi 2,
Yeah.
the S curve goes across the center.
Well, there you go. Right. That makes sense.
So this is the I pretty much the only exception to crossing the center line of the body with the arm or with the hand.
Okay.
Basically, we don't cross to the other side of the body.
Right.
So, but in this particular movement, we do. And part of it is that you're turning and then into the next part.
Okay.
Otherwise, that looks pretty good. I mean, considering your limited space.
Yeah. Do half a move, take a step.
I beg your pardon?
I said, do half a move, take a step.
You do the best you can.
Right. Yeah.
Um, it's not the always the best outside practicing weather
Oh,
now. So, and that takes us to the end of the second paragraph.
very cool.
Um, and the very first part, cross hands and return tiger to the mountain, are the same as what you've done before. So actually,
Okay.
those continue. Then it changes,
Okay.
but perhaps we should not go beyond this for now.
I think that might be a good idea. But yeah,
Seems
that's
like
cool.
enough. Do you have any other questions in the form?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I if I run into any, I will let you know. Um,
Yeah. Um, do remember that I'm not that far away.
yeah,
You could always call, write, uh,
yeah,
Zoom, whatever, um,
sure.
um, and I'd be glad to, you know, clarify or answer whatever I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Good. Well, it's nice to see you. Please say hello to that lovely family of yours,
sure. Yeah,
and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
yeah. Hope everything stays smooth over there.
Oh, yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Um, this is the beginning of a new session.
Oh, okay.
Should
Cool.
I should I send you a Venmo request or you?
That that's always easiest for me. Then I just push a
Okay,
button. So
okay, will do.
there I am. Yeah. All right.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
All righty. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.